What's up, duelists? My goodness, this last weekend was an exceptional tournament. I'm so excited to share with you guys these top 8 deck lists. But first, I got to say thank you to all the new subscribers, all the new members, everything. That was really a crazy cool stream. If you guys haven't watched it already, both the top 8 and the full stream VOD of the tournament are now up. You can watch every match of top 8. You can see all these decks in action. And of course, leave a like, and if you aren't already subscribed, even after that stream, even after all of that, go ahead and do it right now, because there's a lot more cool shit coming your way. So let's go ahead and get right into things. This is 8th place from Gwari, Frog Monarch deck list. This is one of the coolest Frog Monarch deck lists I've ever seen, honestly. Check it out. Check out the text. You've got Dark Arm Dragon as a tech. This actually makes a lot of sense. He's got the 3 Battle Faders, 3 Caius, Gore's Jinzo, triple Junk Synchron, and Trigodia. So a ton of different darks. On top of that, Junk Synchron can help you make dark synchros like Cataster. Kind of counts, I guess. Yeah, all right. So you got some power in this. You got one Zaborg as a 7th Monarch. That's kind of cool. Jinzo is such a sweet tech. So is the Dark Dust Spirit. We saw the Dark Dust Spirit put in a ton of work. I like this list a lot. Main deck Book of Moon, couple of Upstart Goblins. 1 Soul Exchange, 0 enemy controller, kind of interesting. I know that enemy controller's kind of fallen out of favor in these decks in general, and it looks like that's for good reason. This was very successful for him, and it worked out well. So congratulations to Gwari on earning his invite. The sideboard is pretty cool. He's got Burial to help fight against Soul Release, DD Crow, that kind of stuff. Triple Vanities for the unfair decks, another book. Giant Trunade to hate out back row, a couple of monster removal spells, 5 to be exact, and then double Twister, double Cyber Dragon. Just some well-rounded cards. 0 DD Crow. I actually like that inclusion here. I don't think DD Crow is where you want to be with this deck. Oftentimes, you're not putting cards in the graveyard anyway. You're banishing them with Caius or putting them back on top of the deck with Ryza or Phoenix Wing Windblast. So that seems like a good decision here from Gwari. Cool deck. Looks very well tuned. I'm excited to play this in the coming weeks. All right, next up, also 7th place. I mean, yeah, the way double elimination works is there's 2 7th place decks. You get the idea. Is Volcanic Quick Draw. Asgar, a.k.a. Lowers on Dueling Book, is playing Volcanic Quick Draw with some really cool text as well. He's got 3 copies of Quick Draw Synchron to pair with his Volcanic Shells as well as his 2 Dandelions. Triple Raikoko, main deck Battle Fader, double main deck Royal Decree. This card is very good against the Blackwing decks that were everywhere this weekend. I'm going to get into the metagame breakdown after I talk about all the decks. So I'll talk about why these Royal Decrees did so well for him. Triple Avarice to go with his shells. Triple Rocket, only 1 Blaze Accelerator. If this gets DD Crowed, it's a little bit funny. 0 Discard Traps, which I think is a smart move in general. And then he's got this main deck Destiny Hero Plasma. This card is fucking crazy. It's really good against the Frog decks. It's really good against the Monster Effect heavy decks that we've seen a few of. Zombies in particular, it's pretty good against that. It's good against the other, Treeborn Caius decks. And it can get pretty big as well. Against dragons, I don't think they have a lot of great outs to it outside of heavy storming, sweeping the back row, and then attacking over it or crashing into it with a Drago or something. You can summon it pretty easily off the Dandy tokens or off of Scapegoat. In the sideboard, he's actually siding the 2 Lone Fire and Titanial, and they did a lot of work for him in the tournament. We saw him side them in very frequently. He's got 1 Legendary Jujutsu Master. This is a great card against Blackwings. Again, the most popular deck this weekend by far. Legendary Jujutsu Master is a great tech there. 2 Fossil Diner for the unfair shit. We got Cyber Dragon, DD Crow, the classic. Stuff you want to loop with Drill Warrior, basically. Triple pulling the rug for Monarch decks, where you want to side out the Royal Decrees and you want to have a way to just stop that nonsense straight up. Mind Crush, which also did all right for him this weekend. We saw it resolve on a Blackwing opponent where he named Blizzard and hit 2 cards, which was pretty cool. And then a main deck Twister, another fast out to Royal Oppression, similar to what Gwari was side decking in his as well. Really solid deck list. Everything looks cool. The one thing that I'm kind of missing from this deck list is Cold Wave. I feel like a Cold Wave would be really good, but maybe not because you need Blaze Accelerator and you only have 2 Debris. I'm not sure. Very cool deck list. Looks very solid, looks very well tuned. Well done to Lowers for earning his invite. Okay, we're going to get into the 5th place deck list now. There's 2 5th place deck lists as well. This is 5th place Beast Mode. This was a repeat top 8. Beast Mode has top 8'd previously with Quick Draw. This time he decided to bring Diva Zombie. It's a very unique list. He has 6 7 recruiters, actually. He has Sangan, 2 Goblin Zombies, double Turtle, double Mystic Tomato. A lot of recruiters. Also, he's got the Tech Enemy Controller, which is an interesting one for sure. He elected not to play Phoenix Wing Windblast, instead main decking 2 Dust Tornadoes as extra backer removal. I can see why you would do that in a deck like this. You just need ways to clear Royal Oppression. Sometimes you don't always have an effective discard. He is a little bit monster light for a card like Allure of Darkness. Oftentimes you're going to be removing, you know, a key card like a Spirit Reaper, Goblin Zombie, Plague, something like that. But I think it worked out for him well. Obviously, he got to 5th place with this list. I do think I would have maybe added an extra monster in here. I like playing 21 to 23 monsters in my zombie decks. But this looks pretty solid, all things considered. There's nothing too crazy about it, nothing too wild. It's just a very, very solid deck list. In the sideboard, he's got double Sirocco. You'll notice that a lot of the players in the top 5 are playing some number of Siroccos, 3 in each deck, just kidding, and also some number of D-Prisons here, which is one of the best cards against both Vayu and Blackwings. So, yeah, also got the second bottom list coming against Blackwings as well. Got the Thunder Kings and the Kaiku for like various stun necessities, 2 Light Mirrors for Lightsworn. He's got double DD Crow and double Cyber Dragon as well. Just some Edison format, you know, catch-alls. Extra deck's very interesting. He's got Gaia Dude over the Flamvel Urukizis. We saw both Gaia Dude and Flamvel Urukizis win games this last weekend, so, you know, it's kind of up in the air which one you want to play, but they both have merit in certain situations. Solid deck list from Beastmode. Congrats on a repeat top 8. Very, very poggers. And then the other 5th place deck list was also Diva Zombie. This one is quite a bit different. Playing 24 monsters. He is playing 3 Diva, not just 2. He's also playing the Gilman, so he can make 1 card 5-star synchros. He's also got the 7 recruiters, which I think is a solid number, and triple main deck DD Crow. This is an interesting choice. It obviously worked out very well for Marais. Congratulations to him on topping with this deck. The extra deck and the side deck... sorry, not the extra deck. The side deck is where things get really interesting. Triple Electric Virus, double Cyber Dragon, double Thunder King, triple Light Mirror, triple D-Prison. D-Prison was the name of the game this weekend. It was so clutch. Banishing Armor Masters, banishing Armed Wings, banishing Shuras, Boras, whatever. Making it so that the Blizzies and the Vayus and the whatever just lost all their value. D-Prison was the #1 trap this weekend, for sure. It actually made it into, we'll talk about the chart later on, but the top most played cards was D-Prison was one of them. Just as a great answer to all of these Blackwing decks that kind of just came out of nowhere. One of the things about this tournament that was crazy is that there was just a ton of Blackwings and not that much of other decks that were previously popular. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more in the meta breakdown. This deck looks pretty straightforward, pretty standard compared to the stuff we've seen, besides the 3 main deck Crow and the Gilman. I think those are the 2 biggest changes that we see here that we don't normally see in other zombie decks. A little bit interesting to not see Kaiku in the sideboard, but maybe he wanted the 3 virus just to have a great matchup against machines and dragons, which is totally understandable. Getting into top 4, at 4th place, we have J4. J4's kind of story and arc this last weekend has been crazy. Crazy to say the least. He is playing the Blackwing Vayu hybrid deck with triple Dark Grepher, triple Vayu, triple Upstart Goblin, but he's also playing Black Whirlwinds and Icarus attacks, along with triple Bora, triple Blizzy, and triple Shura. So he's maxing out on all of the Blackwing monsters. Very monster-heavy list. Main decking Gors as well. Gors was great for him this weekend. I like this list a lot. I think the only thing I might change moving forward is consider cutting either a Blizzy or a Bora and just adding another spell and trap card. I think something like a Mind Control could be very good. I think something like a Book of Moon could be very good here. Just having a little extra piece of interaction. Maybe even, you know, a main deck like DD Crow or something. Just another piece of interaction. I think it's a little bit interaction light of a list, but it worked out super well for him. He had these insane OTK turns because he's just a very monster-heavy list. He had a lot of turns where it was just like Sirocco or pitch to special Grefford, special double Bora, Armed Wing, kill the opponent. Tons of burst hands that were just insane. In the sideboard, you see the D-Prisons that we were talking about. Very important in the mirror matches. The bottomless trap holes as well. He could do something like side completely into a regular Blackwing deck by taking out the Greffers and 2 Vayus, as well as the Gors, and just bringing in a ton of back row if the matchup called for it. Of course, he also has the 3 DD Crows and the 2 Cyber Dragons. These are the Edison format catch-alls. They aren't too insane against any one strategy, but they are solid enough against a lot of different strategies that I think you want to include some number of either Cyber Dragon or DD Crow in your side deck at some point. The extra deck looks fairly straightforward, nothing too out of the ordinary. Yeah, I mean, it's a straightforward list. The only thing that's kind of crazy is the monster count is very high. And the main deck Gores is cool too. I like the main deck Gores in this deck. It mixes people up a lot. Okay, congratulations to J4. He had an insane record with this deck too. I think he was 20-0 at some point with this list, which is... That's crazy. Climbed all the way to the number 1 in the ladder. Okay, third place, we got Vayu Turbo. Vayu Turbo from 10-Foot Dick is his username. He was, of course, forced to change this username for the tournament to 10FD. But, yeah, a little bit of a troll player. Definitely decided to bring some troll picks as well. If you look at his deck, he's got Elfin the Raven, which is a troll pick for sure. He's also got Soul Release in the sideboard. This looks like a James Arc list from, like, 2019. No cap. Solid list, though. Main deck Dust Tornado is cool. The main deck 1 Bottomless is cool. We've seen a lot of people main decking 1 Bottomless, 1 Book. Just like a couple little tech removal options. People always play around the second Bottomless, although they never see it. 3 main deck Sirocco is super important, I think. Super, super important. Because with all of the Blackwings, you want to have the Sirocco to counter their aggressive pushes if they don't kill you. You can also get a lot of reversal OTKs. We saw some crazy turns he had using Sirocco, Vayu, and Gale to put lethal damage in play. He's got 3 copies of Deep Prison in the 55. Very important to have these in the mirror match. It's one of the best cards. And then, of course, he's got to have the 4 staple traps, Trap Dodge, Shoot, Torrential, Mirror Force. You don't normally play Torrential in the previous deck list, but you play it in this one because you've got Sangin, you've got a bunch of these like Card Trooper, Plague Spreader type creatures where if they die, you're like cool with it, You don't mind setting Torrential behind one of those. Side deck does not have Cyber Dragons. He elected not to play Cyber Dragons. He instead elected to play these Fossil Dinos, which worked out well for him. Probably very good against Dragon Glarbo and the other decks that this punishes, like Frogs and whatnot. Congratulations to 10FD for making his first top 8 appearance in RBET, and we will go ahead and move on to the second place list here. Second place list goes to Crush. This is my second favorite list out of the top 8. This is Crush's Blackwings deck. This deck looks incredibly well tuned. The only complaint I have is this second Dark Eruption right here. I think this should be a Mind Control. That's the only thing I would change out of this whole deck list. Either Mind Control or like a Doom Caliber Knight or just another monster maybe. But I think 2 Dark Eruption is just 1 too many. I think 1 is plenty in terms of recursion. He's got 3 main deck Deep Prison. He said, I'm going to banish your Stardust. I'm going to banish your Armed Wings. I'm going to banish your Siroccos when you pump them and try to attack over me. Deep Prison is so clutch in the mirror match. It's so clutch against Blackwing decks. He had to have all 3 copies. Also main decking the 2 copies of Royal Oppression. Triple Upstart to find the Black Whirlwinds early enough. And then in the side deck, he actually has 0 copies of DD Crow, which is another interesting choice. One thing about Dark Eruption is that it can reuse DD Crow, but he didn't have any. Maybe he didn't think it was good enough. I think he's not the only person to cut DD Crow, I think. Yeah, DD Crow can be a little bit low impact, so I understand his reasoning to playing Soul Releases instead, but at the same time, it's like, DD Crow's chainable, you can loop it, you can use it for Icarus attack if you need to, you can banish it for Allure if you need to, it sets up Dark Armed if you need it, so there's a lot of upside to using DD Crow here too. Those are the few things about this list that I think were maybe could be a little bit better, but he played incredibly this weekend. If you get a chance to watch the VODs, watching any of the games with Crush in it were amazing. I think he only got tired towards Grand Finals where he did meet the winner of the tournament, Raikoko, aka Ryan, who played Vayu Turbo as well. A lot of Blackwings this weekend. I said it in my predictions video, and it was just true. Everyone was playing Blackwings, and people didn't really prepare for it. I feel like maybe they didn't have enough time to. The prediction video came out a day before the tournament, but yeah. You'll notice a trend here. Main deck Deep Prisons. Exactly. If you want to deal with these Blackwing decks, the main deck Deep Prisons are a great way to start. This list looks pretty straightforward. I also really like the main deck Gores and the main deck DD Crow Tech from Raikoko. I also like the fact that he's not playing Upstart Goblins. It gives him that extra edge in the mirror match. It gives him that extra little bit of OTK potential. And it also makes his Raiko Mills slightly better and you have a higher density of good cards in your deck with the D Prisons. In the side deck, he's got the 1 Kaiku, the 1 Crow, able to make room for the Kaiku by moving 1 Crow to the main. He's playing the Thunder King Ryo and 2 Cyber Dragons. These cards are pretty good. He did elect to play 1 Deck Dev and 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors. Normally you see more Deck Dev, less Light Imprisoning Mirror because you are somewhat reliant on these Raikos for your deck's engine to get going. He is also playing Knock. He's also playing Lightning Vortex, 1 Pulling the Rug, and 2 Dust Tornado. Extra deck is fairly straightforward. A lot of tech inclusions in this list. A lot of tech inclusions, especially in the sideboard. A lot of one-ofs. But it worked out very well for Raikoko. He actually won this event undefeated 9-0, which is incredible. Over 196 other players, 197 players entered total, which is exceptional. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the metagame a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys a bonus deck list that I really enjoyed from this event. Okay, first off, let's check out the deck type representation. Blackwings and Vayu Turbos made up 37 out of 197, which is, that's a solid, 20%? 20% of the field were Blackwing decks, which is crazy. And then another 20 decks were Diva Zombie decks, which means 10% of the field is Diva Zombies, which is insane. And then you're moving down and you're like realizing, holy shit, no one is playing Diva Hero. Diva Hero is like the most popular deck in the last few RBETs. Where is it? It's just gone. Nobody was playing it this weekend. Nobody was also playing a few other decks. Lightsworn, only 9 Lightsworn in the entire tournament, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild. A lot of people came this weekend. They were like, fuck it, I'm playing Vayu, I'm playing Blackwings, I'm playing Zombies. And the top 8 reflected the number of entrants in each field, I feel like. A few decks overperformed. I feel like Frog Monarch overperformed. It put a deck into the top 8 despite only having like 1 or 2 people, 3 people entering with it. And then, what other deck? Quick Draw. Volcanic Quick Draw also overperformed. 4 people entered with Volcanic Quick Draw, and 1 of them made it into the top 8. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, the most represented decks put 2 copies each in top 8. So that just makes the most sense. To me, that just makes the most sense. Let's look at the most played cards. We got top main deck cards. Caius the Shadow Monarch, 228 copies in 197 people's deck list, which is wild. Bottomless Trap Hole, the most played, second most played card in the main deck, 213 copies in 197 decks, which is also wild. And then you'll see here that Dimensional Prison was actually one of the top played cards this weekend. A lot of Blackwing players taking that in for the mirror. A lot of other players taking that in to help answer stuff from Diva Zombies and whatnot. Sideboard cards, we've got Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer making an appearance here. Number 10 on the list. I wonder if that's going to go up more considering how many Zombies and how many Vayu Turbo lists there were this weekend. Additionally, we've got, Deck Devastation Virus, very, very high up. I wonder if this has anything to do with the fact that Blackwings was such a highly played deck. There's a huge drop-off here from Pulling the Rug to D-Prison. You'll see 158 people were citing Pulling the Rug, and then only 158 copies of Pulling the Rug were cited, and then only 90 copies of D-Prison were cited. So sideboards got pretty small, pretty unique after these top 5 cards here. You'll notice DD Crow, Cyber Dragon, and Dust Tornado obviously being the top 3 side deck cards. They're just the most versatile in the format. Really, really expect to see a ton more of those because they're just the best. They just do everything. All right, and then the bonus deck list. The bonus deck list you've all been waiting for is Soulsmanic's 13th place Flamvell list. I actually think this list is really cool. Soulsmanic did a great job testing this list. He had a very impressive run. I think he was out at 7-2, which is a solid record, a very solid record. Some players even made it into top 8 with worse records just because of the way double elimination works. He lost round 1, and then he fought through 7 games, and then ended up losing in top 16, I believe. This is a cool deck list. It plays like a stun deck, he said, with Kaikus and Thunder King Ryos and Snowman Eaters. And then you have the Flamvell engine to help give you late-game power plays that other stun decks don't necessarily have thanks to Rekindling. He's also main decking the 2D Prison as well as 2 Compulsory, which is really interesting. 1 Royal Oppression in the main deck. Second in the sideboard, he is citing 2 copies of Needle Sealing, an interesting card. He's citing the Trigodia, Double My Body as a Shield, really good card against Blackwings. He's got a Trap Stun and a 3rd Kaiku for Vayu. So he came tricked out. He said no Cyber Dragons, no DD Crows, only 1 Dust Tornado. I'm going to bring the sauce. And it worked out really well for him. I think this deck list is very cool. I'm excited to see what people do with Flamvell moving forward because I think he mentioned it on stream and I am going to mention it here. I think this is one of the least developed archetypes in Edison that has a lot more room to be pushed. In any case, thank you guys so much for an amazing weekend at RBET4. If you guys haven't already caught the VODs, definitely go catch up on the matches. There was amazing plays in almost every single match. A lot of really hype stuff happens. And leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, talk about the glorious Edison format. You know how it is. Follow me on Twitter at E3yugioh, and stay tuned for more really amazing content. This week, I'm going to be doing tournament replays. I'm going to be on an MBT video, I believe, and then I'm going to be playing some of these decks from RBET4, so stay tuned for that stuff. See you guys later. Peace out.